Hello children, welcome to your English class. How are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. Children, today we are going to learn a very interesting story after 20 years. This story is written by O. Henry. O. Henry's real name is William Sidney Potter. He is well known by his pen name O. Henry. He was an American short story writer and his stories are well known for surprise ending. And this is why I too love his stories very much. And after 20 years is one of my favorite story and I hope you will also love this story. Let's find out what happened in this story. Let's learn something more about the author. O. Henry is best known for his short stories, which are famous for their wit, wordplay, realistic characterization, and twist endings. Some of his famous stories are The Ransom of Red Chief, The Cob and the Anthem, and Duplicity of Hargreaves, and The Gift of Maggie. The introduction of the lesson. After 20 years is a short story focuses on the reunion of two old friends, Jimmy and Bob, who had promised to meet 20 years later at a particular time and place. The twist at the end of the tale reveals how each friend lived up to the promise. Through their brief encounter, the two explored the themes of friendship, loyalty, and trust. Bob's punctuality in keeping his meeting with Jimmy perhaps best demonstrates his loyalty to their friendship. Let's see the video clipping of the story.
20 years. The incident in the story takes place on a dark, windy New York City business avenue where a policeman discovers a man standing in a dark doorway. The policeman on the beat moved up the avenue impressively. The time was barely 10 o'clock at night, but the chilly gusts of wind with a taste of rain in them had left the streets empty and deserted. When about midway of a certain block, the policeman suddenly slowed his walk. A man was leaning in the doorway of a darkened hardware store with an unlighted cigar in his mouth. As the policeman walked up to him, the man explained quickly that he was waiting there for a friend. It was an appointment that had been made 20 years ago. The man said that about that long ago, there used to be a restaurant there. It had been called Big Joe Brady's Restaurant. The policeman confirmed that the restaurant had been there till 5 years ago, when it had been torn down. The man in the doorway struck a match and lit a cigar. The light showed a pale, square-jawed face with keen eyes and a little white scar near his right eyebrow. His scarf pin was a huge diamond, oddly set. The man said that he had dined at Big Joe Brady's restaurant exactly 20 years ago with Jimmy Wells, his best chum. He had been 18 and Jimmy was then 20. He was to start for the West to make his fortune, while one couldn't have dragged Jimmy out of New York. They had agreed that night that they would meet there again, exactly 20 years from that date and time, no matter what their conditions might be, or from what distance they might have to come. The policeman found the incident quite interesting, and asked him if he had heard from his friend since he had left. The man replied that they had indeed corresponded for a time, but after a year or two had lost track of each other. But he was sure that Jimmy would meet him there if he was alive, for he had always been the truest, staunchest old chap in the world. The waiting man pulled out a handsome watch, the lids of it set with small diamonds. He said that he had done pretty well for himself in the West, and he hoped that Jimmy had done half as well as him. There was then a fine, cold drizzle falling, and the wind had risen into a steady blow. And in the door of the hardware store, The man who had come 1,000 miles to fill an appointment with a friend of his youth smoked his cigar and waited. After 20 minutes, a tall man in a long overcoat walked up to him.
Is that you, Bob?
He asked doubtfully.
Is that you, Jimmy Wells?
Cried the man in the door.
Bless my heart.
Exclaimed the new arrival.
It's Bob. Well. How has the West treated you, old man? Come on. We go around to a place I know of and have a good long talk about old times.
The two men walked up the street, arm in arm. In the glare of the electric lights, the man from the west turned to gaze upon the other's face.
You're not Jimmy Wells.
He snapped.
You've been under arrest for 10 minutes, Silky Bob. Now, before we go to the station, here's a note I was asked to hand you. It's from Patrolman Wells.
Bob trembled a little while reading the note, which said,
Bob, I was at the appointed place on time. When you struck the match to light your cigar, I saw it was the face of the man wanted in Chicago. Somehow, I couldn't do it myself, so I went around and got a plainclothes man to do the job, Jimmy.
So children, you have seen the video clipping of the story. I hope you have understood the story. But once again, we will learn the story through the textbook. We'll understand the story once again. So the story goes in this way. The policeman was on the beat. He was following the path while he was on his duty. He spun his club as he walked along the road. With his stalwart form, with his strong-built personality and slight swagger, he moved with confidence and often stopped to check if the doors were properly locked. As he kept a watchful eye on the peaceful road, there were few people on the road, though it was barely 10 o'clock at night. The area was one that kept early hours. People used to go home early as it was cold and the cool breeze was blowing. Light was seen in some stores as most of the shops were closed. The policeman suddenly slowed down on the midway on his path as he saw a man leaning against the doorway of a darkened hardware store. As the policeman walked towards him, the man spoke up quickly. He said to the policeman that he is waiting for his friend. They made this appointment 20 years ago. He said that though it sounds funny that his appointment was made 20 years ago, but he said to the policeman, if you want, I can explain you. The man said. He also said that 20 years ago there used to be a restaurant where this store stands now, where he was standing at that time. The name of the restaurant was Big Joe Brady Restaurants. It was torn down, destroyed 5 years ago, the policeman replied. When the man moved a little from his place, a dim light from the neighboring store fell on his face. The policeman now was able to see him clearly. He had a pale, square-jawed face with keen eyes and a little white scar near his right eyebrow. He was also wearing a scarf which has pinned a large diamond on it and was looking odd because generally no one used to have a diamond pin on scarf. The man said that 20 years ago tonight, I and Jimmy dined here at Big Joe Brady Restaurant. Jimmy Well is my best friend and the finest chap, the finest person in this world. He and I raised here in New York. We were born and brought up here in New York just like two brothers. I was 18 and Jimmy was 20. The next day, I was going off to the West to make my fortune, to acquire great wealth. He told this to the policeman. He also said that you could not have dragged Jimmy out of New York. One cannot force Jimmy that New York is the only best place on earth. Jimmy thinks. We agreed that night that we would meet here exactly 20 years from the date and time. No matter what our conditions might be or from what distance we might have to. We thought that in 20 years each of us would have our lives worked out, managed to do something big in our lives, and earned a great deal of money, and whatever our conditions going to be, we will meet after 20 years. This was decided between these two friends. The policeman said to him that what he said is quite interesting, and he also asked, though it passed a long time of 20 years, haven't you heard from your friend since you left? At this the man said that we did write to each other for a time, but after a year or two we lost track of each other. He also said that it isn't easy trying to make a life in the West, and I got rather busy. But I know Jimmy will meet me if he is alive, for he was always the truest, staunchest, the most loyal and the committed old chap, the committed person in this world. He never forgets his promise. I came from 1,000 miles to stand at this door tonight, and it's worth it if my friend turns up. The waiting man pulled out a handsome watch. The lid of the watch was set with small diamonds. The watch looked very expensive. 3 minutes to 10, the man announced. It was exactly 10 o'clock when we parted at the restaurant door. The policeman said to him that he did pretty well in the West. At this, the man said that he is sure and can bet that Jimmy has done half as I have done. Because Jimmy was kind of person, a kind of who works slowly and persistently at a dull task. Kind of plodder. And I have had to compete with some of the sharpest mind to be successful. He also said that Jimmy must have not been successful because a man gets in a groove in New York. Means the people are following a fixed routine in New York, and to make him sharp, he need to be taken to the West. The policeman twirled his club and took a step and said, I'll be on my way. Hope your friend comes around soon. How long will you wait? I'll give him half an hour at least. If Jimmy is alive, he'll be here by that time. Good night, sir, said the policeman. Once more on his beat, checking doors, he went. There was now a fine cold drizzle falling, and a steady wind was blowing. The few people on the road hurried silently with their hands in their pockets, and the coat's collar turned high. And in the door of the hardware store, the man who had come 1,000 miles to meet the friend of his youth waited patiently. About 20 minutes he waited, and then a tall man in a long overcoat with his collar turned up hurried across from the opposite side of the street. He went directly to the waiting man. Is that you, Bob? He asked doubtfully. Is that you, Jimmy Wells? Cried the man at the doorway. Bless my heart. He gave the expression of joy and fondness for the new arrival, grasping the other's hand with his own. I was certain I'd find you here if you are still alive. 20 years is a long time. The old restaurant gone, Bob. I wish if restaurant would have still existing, so we could have had another dinner there. At this he said, It has given me everything I asked for it. You have changed a lot, Jimmy. I have never thought you were so tall by 2 or 3 inches in 20 years. Oh, I grew a bit after I was 20. Doing well in New York, Jimmy, he said. Somewhat. I have a position in one of the city department. Come on, Bob, we'll go around to a place I know and have a long talk about our old times. The old man started walking arm in arm. The man from the West, basking in the glory of his success, was beginning to outline the history of his career. The other listened with interest. At the corner stood a brightly lit medicine store. When they came into the glare, the friend turned to look at each other. The man from the west stopped suddenly and freed his arm. You are not Jimmy Well, he snapped. 20 years is a long time, but not so long enough to change a man's nose from a Roman to a pug. It sometimes changes a good man into a bad one, the tall man said. You have been under arrest for last 10 minutes, Silky Bob. The Chicago police thinking you may have come this way. They sent a telegram to us and they told that you are wanted there. That's sensible. Now before we go to the station, here's a note I asked to give you. You may read it here at the window. It's from the patrolman Wells. Means the man who came first. The man from the west unfolded the little piece of paper. His hand was steady, firm, while opening the letter. When he began to read, but it trembled. The hands started trembling now when he read the news, the message which was there in the letter. By the time he finished the note, his hands started trembling. And what was there in the letter? It was like this. Bob, I was at the appointment place on time. When you shifted and the dim light fell on you, I saw it was the face of the man wanted in Chicago. Somehow I couldn't do it myself, so I went around and got a plainclothes man to do the job. Means the man who came first, who was the policeman, who was in the round while he was in the duty. Actually, he was his friend for whom he was waiting. But when he saw that my friend who is waiting here for me is one of the most wanted criminal in the West, so he sent a plainclothes man to arrest him. So the twist at the end of the tale reveals how each friend lived up to the promise.